Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of the Disney Q&A. I asked for questions over on Instagram and I got so many I had to do this video in 2 parts. So if you haven't already seen part 1, I will link that below and you can go back and watch the first half. But this is the second half. I'm answering more of your questions, so let's get into it. You have to choose one Disney food only to eat for 2 weeks. What is it? It's between 2 things. It would either be eating at Ohana. I mean, I could do that every day for 2 weeks. I probably would not want to step on the scales afterwards, but I could do it because I love the food there. I think though, if it has to be for 2 whole weeks, maybe it would be Trails End if they still have the buffet there, because they have a lot of different stuff there. So I feel like you could eat for 2 weeks and not have the exact same thing every night, and I always love the food. But only if it's a buffet, not if it's like the family style thing. Yeah. That would be the answer. I really like this question. Where do you put your bag when going on a crazy roller coaster ride? The reason I like this question, it's funny to think about because when I did my first ever trip in 2002, we had no idea where you're supposed to put your bags when you're on rides. So when we set out to the parks, like on the first day that we ever went to one of the Florida theme parks, we didn't even take bags with us because we were like, what do we do with it? Like when we're on rides, we both want to be able to ride the rides. We don't want someone to have to stand there with the bags or something. So we just had stuff like in our pockets and didn't hardly take anything with us. When you're at Disney World, I don't think there's one ride or attraction where you can't take your bag onto the ride, or there's some kind of little place to put it. So Flight of Passage, for example, you put it in the little kind of bin thing behind where you're on the attraction. But most of the time when you're riding Everest, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, stuff like that, you just put your bag down by your feet and it just stays there. The only one I'm not sure about, because I never ride it, is Rock and Roller Coaster. That one does go upside down, so someone in the comments let me know, do you take your bag on and just put it down by your feet or what? I'm not sure. But over at Universal, where they have much bigger roller coasters, and at Busch Gardens, I would imagine it's the same. You do have to put your bags in a locker and the lockers are outside the attraction. Read that Disney's Magical Express is stopping and fast passes are chargeable. Any other bad news? I think that's most of the bad news. Obviously, extra magic hours have changed as well. Now you get some kind of early access in the morning if you're staying at the Disney resorts, but it's not for as long as the extra magic hours were. I think it's maybe half an hour or something, but that's the only other piece of really bad news that I think has come out of Disney World. There have been a lot of changes, and a lot of it is a lot to get your head around and take in if you're used to planning Disney trips a certain way, and now you have to think about it another way. The Magical Express, although it is going, and that is a massive bummer, Mia's are going to be still providing that service. It just won't be called Magical Express anymore, and it probably won't have the Disney theming or branding, but it will be the same service ultimately. I think you will have to pay for it, of course, which is also a bummer, but you will still be able to kind of get there in the same way, if that makes sense. And I imagine, I don't know this for sure, but it's probably going to even be in the same section of the airport, I think. I don't know for certain, but we'll find out when it starts happening and getting used. But yeah, I know it does all seem a little bit gloomy if you're over in the UK and we're locked out of traveling to the US to go to Disney, and in the last kind of 18 months it just seems like there's more and more changes that feel very negative, but that's why I'm excited to get back to the parks to do a trip and really experience all of these changes, let you guys know what I think, how everything works, because that's what I always like to do in the vlogs, is experience these things and then bring that to you in a lot of detail so that when you're planning your own trips you can get a feel for what it's going to be like. So as soon as I can get back there, I definitely will experience all these changes and show you what I think of them. Which out of the new parts of Epcot are you most looking forward to? Definitely the Ratatouille ride, the new expansion in the France Pavilion. I've obviously been watching it unfold from the Skyliner. As you go to and fro from Epcot, you could see all the construction happening for ages. It looks really great. It looks bigger than I imagined when they first announced it. I thought they were just kind of building the attraction, but there's also a new little crepe restaurant there and other things going on, and that's probably the thing I'm most looking forward to in Epcot. Favourite breakfast spot now that the Wave has gone? Oh my goodness, don't remind me. Yes, the Wave I really loved. I'm still a bit gutted about that. I think California Grill are going to be having a breakfast option instead. Probably my next favourite though was always Trails End. I do love a Trails End breakfast. I don't know if they're doing that at the moment because buffets are on their way back at Disney World. There's a few locations that have reopened with buffets, and I would imagine they're all going to eventually. So probably Trails End, and I do also love Crystal Palace in the Magic Kingdom. The breakfast there is great as well. How many Spirit jerseys do you own? I think I have about 8 currently, 8 Spirit jerseys. Is there a resort you haven't stayed at yet that's on your list to do? I want to do all of them, and I'm gradually working my way through, and I've done more of them than I haven't, so I'm well over halfway. Probably the one I most want to stay at though is, I think, the Riviera. I'm very, very excited for Riviera, and also Gran Destino Tower over at Coronado Springs. That's another one I haven't done, and I can't wait to do both of those. What is the one thing you've done at Disney that you'll never do again? Ooh, that's interesting. Probably Tower of Terror. I've done Tower of Terror and have no desire to do it again. I don't like rides that drop. It frightened me. I was not a huge fan, so yes, probably that. Okay, favourite and least favourite ride at each park. Ooh, okay, let's start with Magic Kingdom. So my favourite is Haunted Mansion. It's got to be Haunted Mansion there. My least favourite, probably Astro Orbiter. Not a huge fan of that. Over in Epcot, my favourite currently, because obviously there are changes, is Spaceship Earth. And my least favourite, probably Nemo. Sorry, Nemo. And in Animal Kingdom, my favourite is Flight of Passage, without any question. My least favourite, probably Kali River Rapids. Not too bothered about that. Then finally, over in Hollywood Studios, my favourite would be, it's got to be Rise of the Resistance. I love Slinky Dog Dash as well, but Rise of the Resistance, I think. And least favourite would be Tower of Terror. Favourite place to eat at each park. Okay, let's see if I can do these fairly quick. Hollywood Studios would be Sci-Fi Dine-In, definitely. Animal Kingdom, Yak and Yeti, 100%. Epcot is so difficult because there are so many. Which would I say is my favourite? Oh my goodness. I have about 3 favourites. I'm trying to pick one. I'm gonna have to say Le Cellier. I think it was between Le Cellier and Tepanedo with the 2 in my head. Le Cellier, I would say. And in Magic Kingdom, my favourite place to eat would be Plaza Restaurant. Joffrey's or Starbucks has to leave Disney. Which do you vote to stay? Ooh, that's a tough question. That is tough. See, I love Joffrey's. I absolutely love, love, love their coffee. However, some of the Starbucks locations, such as the one on Main Street and the Trolley Car Cafe, I just love. I love where they are, and I love always getting a coffee from there. Right, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Starbucks would have to stay as long as I can still order my Joffrey's online to get delivered to home, because the coffee I drink here at home is Joffrey's because they deliver to the UK. So yes, that's what I'm gonna say. How to book a perfect Orlando holiday. Oh, okay, first of all, probably no such thing as perfect. That's always my answer to everything and everything in life. I believe that nothing and no one is perfect, which is how it should be. But in terms of best place to book or best way to book, I always just start with writing down everyone who is traveling with you, what their must-dos are. So which parks they definitely want to do, things they want to see and that type of stuff. And then based on those things, just think about where you want to stay and where your budget allows. And once you've kind of got that information, if I'm booking with Disney, I do always book direct, I have to say, especially after what's happened with the pandemic. Booking directly with Disney, it is so easy to sort out and get refunds and change and things like that. So I would always book directly with Disney, then I would look at booking my flights afterwards. I tend to always book hotel first and then flights. For me personally, that's the way around that I do it. But yeah, that's a main tip I would give, is just making sure you know all of the things that you want to do first as a starting point before you actually go booking anything. Do you enjoy the water parks in Orlando? I am not a huge fan of water parks, I have to say. I love swimming, but I mean swimming as in boring, doing lengths of a swimming pool. Like, I actually enjoy swimming, but I don't enjoy really water rides and slides or anything like that. And because I do have TM, it's something that makes me feel quite unsafe, is being on water slides and things like that, because my balance is so bad. So water parks are not really a big thing for me, but I do want to visit them in order to show them in the vlogs, because we've never done that. So I will be going to the water parks, but for me personally, it's not a huge thing for me that I like to do. What are your thoughts on Genie Plus? Do you think you'll be buying it when you go? Yes, I do. I don't think I'll do Genie Plus every single day that I'm in the Disney parks. I think I'll do the kind of $15 per day at least once in each park, and then I may do it more than that depending how it goes the first time. I can see myself using lightning lanes in certain situations, which is the more premium option, and you can do 2 of those per day. So yes, I think I will use it. I think some of the money that I spend will come out of my kind of souvenir merchandise fund. I don't want to be spending tons and tons more than I would have done anyway, so it probably will affect a little bit how many things I buy like that. But if you want to hear a full conversation about it, Becky and I actually did a podcast episode over on Patreon all about Genie Plus and the new lightning lanes and what our thoughts are on it and everything. Patreon is a paid thing that I have, but everybody on all of the tiers get the podcast. So if you're interested in it, then I can link it below and you can go over and have a look. And we've got tons of podcast episodes. We're currently on 54, I want to say, so there's loads to listen back on. So yeah, I'll link that below if you're interested in hearing our full discussion about it. But yes, I do think I will use it for sure, and definitely in the vlogs I really want to use it and go into detail for you guys on what I think of it, how it works. I'll be showing you on my phone when I'm kind of booking the return times and all of that sort of stuff, because I want to just really show it in detail so you guys know for your trips what it's like when you go. This is not a Disney question, but I will quickly answer it because I've already done my Q&A over on my other channel. How is the short hair life? Is it here to stay? For now, yes. I'm not saying I would never go back to having long hair again, but for now I am enjoying having shorter, lower maintenance hair. It's actually so quick to do my hair now, it's amazing. Next question, how interested are you in the Space 220 restaurant? Love your channel. Thank you very much. I'm very interested. I can't wait to eat there. It feels like it's been the longest time coming. I don't know how long a restaurant can possibly take ever to open. It feels like it's just been delayed and delayed. Of course there was the pandemic, to be fair, but it looks really interesting. They've released the menu and some of the items just look really fascinating, and the whole idea of how the restaurant is going to be, I just think is great. So yes, I'm very interested in experiencing that when I go. When are you going to Disney? So Disneyland Paris will be November, and the next trip to Disney World I have booked is at the end of January, so we have everything crossed for that the travel restrictions will have been lifted. If not, then who knows, I will just move it again to a later date. Top 3 Disney memories. Ooh, I've got so many. Probably the top 3 though, as I said earlier, my friend's getting engaged, also their wedding. They got married at the Grand Floridian and I was maid of honour. That was incredible. Probably the third one, I know I mentioned Rise of the Resistance Day, but I think the third, if I had to say like top 3, actually might be Ian's 30th birthday. So we were there then with his family. We stayed at Bay Lake Tower, we ate at California Grill, and that was just such a great trip, especially that part of it. So those are probably my top 3. Do you think it's likely Typhoon Lagoon will reopen soon? I would imagine so. They do tend to have one of the water parks closed during the off season, so there's always one open, usually year round, even in the colder months. They do shut here and there for like a few days if the weather is going to be really cold, but normally there's one open, and then in the busier times of year they usually have both. I think with the pandemic and everything, they've maybe just had one open because there's been less demand for it, but I would imagine it will reopen soon probably, unless they're going to leave it closed all the way until like next busy season, but I'm not sure. Best places to stay for Disneyland Paris, budget friendly but close. Do you know what, this is one I feel entirely unequipped to answer, because like I said, I've only been to Disneyland Paris once. I stayed at Hotel Cheyenne, which I think is one of the cheapest ones that you can stay in, but aside from that, when it comes to off-site, I would not have the first clue, because Becky booked that last trip that we did and I've never looked into it. So this is where I will hand it over to you guys in the comments. Please answer that question if you can. Good places to stay, budget friendly, close to Disneyland Paris. And if you read the comments, hopefully people will have had some answers for you there. Dining credits thoughts, $36 per person per day at value doesn't seem much at all. Yeah, so they have this kind of dining credit thing going on at the moment because dining plan, of course, has been gone for ages. They're talking about it coming back. It's meant that free dining hasn't been available as it normally is, and they have this kind of credit thing. $36 per day is not that much. I haven't looked into it in a lot of detail because I have an annual pass. I can never take advantage of these types of offers because you normally have to purchase your park ticket and hotel as a package, I believe, to get the dining credit, I think. But $36 per day is not a great deal. However, when you did the free dining offer, I think you would only get quick service if you were staying at a moderate. This is in the UK. So if you were staying at a moderate, you'd get quick service. If you were staying at a deluxe, you would get the normal table service plan. And if you were staying in a value, I think you just got breakfast. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not a huge expert in this area, like I say, because I never use dining plan because I've got an annual pass, but I think that's how it worked. So $36 per day, I guess, is sort of similar to just getting breakfast for free, I think. But yeah, I think people would much rather see the old offer come back, like the dining plan itself come back and have it done that way, because that's what people are used to. And I would imagine that will come back, I think, at some point, but who knows. Next question is favourite Disney park. It's got to be Epcot. Epcot is my favourite. Disney World is the only place that has Epcot. It's not in any of the other Disney resorts throughout the world. And it's definitely my favourite. I love it. I love the World Showcase. Next question is, do you think you'll travel by yourself for a Tokyo Disney trip or with a friend? I actually think more than likely next time I go to Tokyo, I don't know if I would do it solo, if I'm totally honest. I probably wouldn't. It could potentially be with a friend, but it may be something that I would do with my mum, because of course if I'm going to see my brother, that would be perfect because we could both go and see him and then go to Disney. So maybe that could be something that could happen. My mum might be watching, actually. She watches all my videos, and this is probably the first she's hearing about it, but I think that would be amazing to do the Tokyo Disney trip maybe with my mum. So let's see if that happens. That would be good, wouldn't it? And that is going to be it for the Q&A. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for upcoming videos. I'm going to be having the Disneyland Paris vlogs coming up soon once we've been on that trip, and prior to that there'll obviously be videos in the lead up to it for packing for the trip, planning for that trip. So make sure you are subscribed and you've hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a video. And I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys for all of your love on the cruise vlogs. It's been absolutely amazing. I really do appreciate all of the comments and likes and everything over there. Everyone seems to have really enjoyed them, and of course I can't wait to get back to Disney World to bring you more Disney World vlogs and bring you all of the updates, all the changes, and we really can't wait to do that. So fingers crossed we will be able to do that in January. But as always, a huge thank you to you guys for being here and always being so supportive and so lovely and amazing. You are all great. So thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.